Most organizations have shifted their focus from diversity to diversity and inclusion. But the paradox that we confront all the time is that these very same organizations are still only measuring diversity, measuring representation. And at most what they're doing is including 3 broad questions in the engagement survey on inclusion. Now, if you're driving a diversity and inclusion strategy and agenda, then you need to establish a more granular insight into what the status quo is with regard to inclusion, where the inclusion capability gaps exist amongst leadership in your organization. A rigorous diagnostic is absolutely essential. So what does a rigorous diagnostic, being an inclusion assessment, actually do for you? Well, the first thing that it does is it ensures that you do not adopt a one-size-shoe-fits-all approach to building inclusive leadership capability. It really isn't very helpful to just whitewash all your leaders with 2 days of training on inclusive leadership. What you do need to do is you need to assess, where do their strengths lie? Where are their deficiencies? In what areas are their inclusion competencies wanting? And once you've achieved that, then you can ensure that when you send them on inclusive leadership training to build their capability, you get a real return on investment. In today's world, where everything that you do requires that you do more with less, where every leader is so time poor, you cannot waste time sending leaders on inclusive leadership training which they don't need. Well, the second thing that an inclusion assessment does is that it gives guidance, explicit guidance to leaders on what it is they need to do differently in order to behave in an inclusive manner. We have so many leaders who tell us that they are exasperated by the vague, amorphous way in which inclusion is defined in their organization, and that when they go through a rigorous inclusion assessment, they understand specifically what their blind spots are, where their deficiencies lie, what it is they need to do differently. And the final thing that an inclusion assessment does is it gives you a concrete way of heightening accountability of your leaders to drive the inclusion agenda and to behave in an inclusive manner in a sustained way. And this is what makes executives so excited when they know that they can actually put inclusion on a balanced scorecard and make it a concrete KPI and test and retest to benchmark progress over a 6 or 12-month progress. So an inclusion assessment is actually a means for ensuring that you can give impetus and concrete traction to your inclusion agenda. So if you belong to an organization that is putting more emphasis on inclusion than on diversity in the D&I equation, then it's really important for you to encourage your organization to look at how it can measure inclusion on a leadership, team, or organizational level. So if you're interested in more information on inclusion assessments for your business, please go to our website or give us a call.